motion to open the meeting, please.
So,
All in favor?
aye.
Okay, Chairman's comments are that we are going to be on TV tonight, and please keep all your appropriate comments to the appropriate cells. If anybody needs to get onto it, it can be done through Google Meets, and the link is on the website. Also, when everybody's going to speak tonight, everybody will have their time to be able to speak. If there's a lot of comments, it will be limited to 5 minutes and one time getting up to speak. All right, item number 2, SPP 24-001- Turnpike Street, 800 block. Applicant requests the board to modify a condition of the approval to allow occupancy of the first house without installing the required sidewalk on Turnpike Street. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant's, the builder's here too, he can come up. He's almost finished the first house, and it's right in the middle of the winter. And the condition was that prior to occupancy, he had to have the Turnpike Street done. He's, we don't want him to construct it in the winter.
No, we don't.
I know Craig's on here, so obviously we don't want it constructed in the winter. I believe he started the second house from planning and I think engineering. We're fine with,
That
withholding
sidewalk's on the
occupancy.
opposite side of the street,
Huh?
though. If I remember, the sidewalk's on the opposite side of the street.
Sidewalks on the opposite side of the
Is that an
street.
asphalt sidewalk we're putting in?
It'd be asphalt, yes. So we're fine with, because he's got another house that's, is it under construction? You need to press the button.
It's just getting started on.
Yeah, he's just getting started. It's just a timing issue. We're fine from planning that to withhold the occupancy on the second house prior to getting the sidewalk in, because he won't need it until the spring or early summer.
I'd like to say we put the sidewalk in by April 30th, if that's acceptable to you.
By when?
April 30th? Yeah.
No, just press the button and keep it on green. Let it go. Now let go. Let go. There you go.
There you go. Well, I mean, weather permitting, what I'm looking to do is I don't want to get this delayed so it's into another whole summer and all the house just get done and now it's wintertime. I'm trying to put a date on it. April 30th, the plants are open, everything is running at that point in time. As long as we get a decent spring, you should be able to get that sidewalk in.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds doable. I mean, I got 4 houses there, so I'm not going anyways.
I realize that, but we were looking to get the sidewalk. Part of the whole idea was getting the sidewalk in early and getting that done when we did this, so that's the reason for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got no problem modifying it to say April 30th. Anybody? Yes.
I have one question, Mr. Chairman. Is there any possibility of, making the site a little bit cleaner? It's like, there's debris all over the place, logs, stones, et cetera. Also, is there silt fencing around that? I don't seem to see it.
There is, it's completely wrapped with silt.
Is it on the street side also?
On the street
though?
side
It
also,
is,
yeah.
okay. I drive by it a lot. I just,
Yeah, in the spring, we'll be able to get a lot of the stumps out of it. I mean, there was just so much.
I know there's a lot of stuff that you picked up, but I mean, it just would look nicer if maybe you could clean it up a little bit, Thank you.
I agree.
Go ahead.
You talk about the waiting until April and all that. I understand that. But I didn't see any activity, from the beginning. You got the driveway in for that house. You had the equipment there. If some prep work, had been started, I could understand that. I have heartburn with this. And like I said, previous speaker, you start to look at it, I mean, you found more rocks than anybody can imagine, or before you could imagine. I see you've got big piles of rocks, you got logs left over from when they took down the trees. As far as
God bless you, Kevin.
the site to be cleaned up a bit, I see equipment there. Again, I have heartburn with putting the sidewalk off. I'm not going to hold up on that, but I just want to make my opinion known.
Yep. So we did, when we put the driveway in, the intention was to do the sidewalk, but we hit that deep freeze, and with the rock, we barely got that driveway, and it was we had to dig the whole thing out with the excavator. Had we tried to do that at the same time across the street, it would have been a huge mess. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it froze quick over there this year, and we kind of, weren't able to get the sidewalk in.
The other thing, have you met with your neighbor? The
Yes.
woman? Okay. And I see some plantings going on there. Is that the full schedule that you're supposed to be doing, or is there more coming?
No, that's the full schedule, and she's happy. We've talked to her, she's been involved the whole time.
Okay.
Actually, Peter, they did a nice job.
No,
They did a nice selection, just like we had suggested. They did the rhododendrons and the hollies and the junipers, et cetera. So they're not big plants, but they will grow into a nicely developed naturalizing hill there. I did see that again. My big issue is like, you get a lot of debris there. None of those 3 other lots are not lot ready.
Right.
It might look nice if they were all lot ready. And I understand you need to sell the house. And so I'm not against holding off on the sidewalk.
That's the same way I feel. I mean, for you not to sell the house, it's money being tied up to go
Correct.
further in the project, so I get it.
That's why I'm requesting, yeah. One other thing with the plantings is we met with the owner, and she wanted me to maintain a path for her mother who has Alzheimer's. So it ended up, kind of squeezing us in a little bit where we had to plant. So, I mean, everything's in there like it's supposed to be. But we did also leave her a path on her side, which is on my property, so her mother can
Okay.
get from point A to point B there. So,
You did a nice job with the retaining wall. That looks nice.
yeah, thank you.
All right, do I have any comments from the public that would like to comment on this project? None? Okay, can I entertain a motion that we're able to put off the sidewalk to be completed on or before April 30th of 2026?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item number 3, SP 25-004, 501 Technology Center Drive. Applicant requests modification to the interior landscaping and other site changes from the approved site and landscape plans. Can I have the applicant or representative up? Please state your name and affiliation.
Jason Doherty with CJ Shaughnessy.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Nick and I in engineering went on an inspection and noticed that they had not striped their parking inside. They've got storage going on currently. And then the other thing, the perimeter landscaping numbers there, they did what they were going to do. However, the interior landscaping that is by the flanking both sides of the door, they put in a fraction of what was on the plan. And then the other thing that they did was they've requested, and they had this drawing done, they've got some big equipment that they'd necessitate, I guess, getting a crane in there to restripe this. So it's literally restriping over what was there when Kohl's was there. So they've asked to restripe these areas here and down here. It's the same number. From our point of view, we're fine with that, versus having them bring in cranes to try to move the equipment to stripe it where they were. But so there's two things. One is they're not changing site circulation because it's what was out there before. They're literally repainting over a certain number of lines.
And there's not even public in there anyway. I mean, it's really all storage. It's not like he has public parking.
Right. The reason they need 89 parking spaces is because of the size of the building. I think they've got, he keeps on telling me they're going to have 3 or 4 employees there.
Right.
So.
I don't think there's a lot of issue with where he wants to put a site parking.
Right.
What I do have more of an issue with is, which was something I brought up during the meeting, and it's kind of coming to fruition now. If you drive down there, which you obviously did, one of the things we talked about from the roadway was that the landscaping was going to kind of block everything in. And I said, well, the wintertime with the deciduous, it's not going to block. So right now, you're seeing completely through the fence. We took away all the slats because we said, well, the landscaping is going to block it. But really, the landscaping is going to block it for 4 months of the year, and the rest of the year it's just open. So I'd just like to see how we can do something there, because
Well, they planted the perimeter per the plan.
right, but it's still, it's an empty, in the wintertime, it's not filled in, and it's
Okay.
just, you're just looking right straight through it.
That's not unfortunately, that's not what I brought him here for, because they planted what the board approved.
And they plant.
The landscaping inside, the planter islands that are inside the parking, and the 2 planters on both sides of the large planters is, it was supposed to be fully planted with things, and it literally is just a half a dozen shrubs.
Okay, so what's the proposal for that?
Dr. Jason.
So I did send you a PDF of what we had proposed, and there is,
When did you send me that?
that was with the rest of the package. It was the color copy of it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The
I only have
landscaping.
this.
Okay. I mean, I do have a color copy of it with me, but we had talked to our landscaper, and we had come to an agreement that we were thinking that it was going to be more aesthetically pleasing on the front side of the building to not have as many bushes in front of it, and we put sod down instead, and it would just be a lot less maintenance as well. So we're just requesting to not put as many shrubs in front or in the 3 islands that we have.
So the idea with the islands and the shrubbery has to do with, because we're trying to avoid in the town having these seas of asphalt without any type of breakup, and using the landscaping as part of that breakup for, a lot of different reasons. But I know you're using the site differently than most of people are using asphalt parking lots, but the breakup is still there for conservation reasons, heating reasons, and also, aesthetic reasons. You can't see it from anywhere, so I think as far as that's concerned, I'm not sure that we really need it, but we do need to have the landscaping and the amount of bushes and trees that we ask for.
Yeah. Well, the planter islands that are within the islands that are here and here, that are existing, they did plant them, but they didn't fully plant them with everything that was proposed.
Okay.
And they just kind of modified it.
Okay, so what we should do is, there was a reason you didn't do it fully, I'm sure.
For us, yeah, it was just an aesthetic reason and for maintenance down the line. And we did replace the plantings, the bushes, with sod.
That's along the building. The internal planter islands that are here, I couldn't, I was out there last week. I don't identify plants very well based on stems. They did plant them with shrubs, no trees. There were supposed to be some trees, or none. And then, obviously, the corner planting here, they did a small clustering of, I don't know, rhododendrons or some sort of shrubs on the corner, and then the rest was sod.
How many trees, bushes do you think we're missing? A lot? Well, I guess Bill, what I'm questioning is, I can understand from their point of view for what they're doing in there, and the bushes and the trees being a maintenance issue and everything down the line.
I can too. I don't disagree. I mean,
So I guess my question is, if we're gonna supersede what this code says and what we're gonna do, and he's asking for relief according to the plans, then I think what we should do is, along the front, is come up with a plan that would make that area more denser, even off-season.
And you're talking about the fence area along the street.
Yep. That's just my thought. If we're missing 30 plants, then let's run 30 plants down in there in a way that works.
okay.
Anybody against that?
Could I ask if there was a landscape architect involved, or is this just a landscaper?
This was our civil architect. I can't say if he was a
So
landscape architect or not.
There's a basic problem there. Technology Drive is a nicely landscaped driveway, and you know, the essence is that we want, in Stoughton, we want to keep things looking nice, and probably even nicer than they were in the past. So perhaps maybe, you know, you didn't follow the original design, so, you know, what are we going to get?
So along Technology Center Drive, we did follow the original plan. This is interior to the fence line.
All right?
So what's the proposal, what's the offset proposal to what they did? So you're not looking to increase or do any more planting than what you've done at this point in time, is what you're saying?
That is correct.
And my opinion would be is we take the... Hello? Somebody trying to...
Hey guys, this is Jamie Shaughnessy. I joined a little bit late. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to add just to what Jason had said there. We did follow the plans along Technology Center Drive because we knew that was a huge stressor for the planning board, making sure that the plants covered the fence and everything looked up to snuff along the road. We did use a landscape designer, and our landscaper was the one who kind of proposed the interior planting, and I guess us ignorantly and kind of a learning experience now, we went along with it, not really thinking much of the plantings on the interior of the parking lot since no one would really see them. That's our fault, and that's really just why we're respectfully asking for relief here. Because truly, at the end of the day, no one does see those plants, but we understand the planning board's position on this.
So Jamie, I'm not sure if you heard me earlier, but I guess, you know, one of the things that's come up since now that it's wintertime and your plantings are complete is that it's a lot more visual into the site during the wintertime than was being proposed to us from the beginning. Part of the reason we didn't do the slats or try to close it off was because we were talking about the fence being, you know, everything being obscured. So it's not that way right now. If you look at it, it's just all you can see is the fence and into your yard. So part of the thought process was if you don't put the amount of plants on the interior of the site, which I can understand your point of not doing it, is to take those plants or take that quantity or some sort of plan with your landscape architect, either increase something along that outer line or along the line that separates you and the other parking lots, coming down the parking lot side of the building in order to try to close off that fence from view through in.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I didn't hear that earlier. And I guess from my understanding, and maybe a question to Jason, since I know we did discuss this and I know we did put the prescribed number of plants outside the fence. Jason, is that mainly because it's winter, or is that also because the plants aren't fully grown yet?
It can be a combination of both.
Yeah, a lot of the plants lose their leaves in the wintertime, so you're not going to get the coverage in the winter that you get during the summer.
Understood. I was just asking the question because we did just complete this project, and I know the plants are in their infancy stages. So, I mean, I just didn't know if that was purely because of the fact that it's winter, or if they're also just not fully grown.
Mr. Chairman, it sounds like you would like them to take the quantity and some of the type of plants that they did and add those from the inside and add them to the out.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be the same type of plants. I mean, if it's more advantageous to put evergreens right inside that fence line or something else, or add trees along where the parking lot is, but I think we need to see a plan of what they want to do or what they could do.
Okay. We can put them on the agenda for the 12th. I know that, when were you seeking your occupancy permit?
I mean, as soon as possible, but I mean, if there are changes that need to be made, then
Are you occupying that building now?
yes.
Okay.
Well, you're storing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
You-
we don't,
they
we
got-
don't
they got allowed
have,
to-
we don't have employees.
It's a storage building there,
Yeah,
anyway.
it's
So
just
you are-
storage.
You're utilizing the building?
Correct.
Yeah, they don't have their CO yet.
Really? Okay.
What's left for the CO, Jason?
Just this.
You can't plant in the wintertime.
Right.
You can, but it won't last.
Do you want them to come back on the 12th with the revised plan? We'll sign off on the CO. They have submitted their landscape bond, so we do have a bond already.
Is the bond worth more than the plants?
Yeah, bond's about $25,000.
Okay. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I went down Turnpike Street. I see the big air handlers in there, equipment he's storing and all that. But I was under the impression when this came through, I was in favor of it because the business, you have a good name and everything else. But I wasn't expecting to see through the fence or, or anything like that. So that was somewhat disappointing.
Right. I mean, we did plant per the approved plans for the exterior, so if there are changes that want to be made, we can,
I'm not the plant guy.
Do you want me to work with them? I've got your
Please.
idea.
Come up with something.
I'll work with them
Okay.
too, if you want.
Paul, and Paul, yeah, if you want
Okay.
to work with them.
He's the plant guy.
All right, yeah, we'll put you on the agenda for the
Yeah,
12th.
We'll do a three-way email. I'll sign off on the CO. I'll sign off on the landscape portion. And come spring, we'll bring a plan to take some of the quantity. And I think the parameters are using some of the quantity that you didn't do and figuring out how to add some quantity to the exterior. And then, get it planted in the spring. And then, we can move forward. We do have the landscape bond, so that's, if you don't come back, then the board's going to say, well, you never came back, so until you plant this, we're not going to give you your bond back.
Right.
So let's, I think between Paul on the board and myself, we can work with you guys.
okay,
Okay?
perfect.
One comment
And
on,
we can bring a plan back in the next 2 or 3 meetings before during the winter.
one of my comments on the striping is you're not a traditional business that, try to park one of those cranes inside one of those stripings.
Do
Good luck.
you even mind if they don't even stripe? They did all the handicap spaces,
I'm not concerned with the striping unless
So-
anybody else is.
No.
so they don't even need to stripe
I'm not
87
I'm not even
spaces.
concerned about the striping. They're not going to use it anyway. I'm not that concerned
they
about
can-
it.
Save some
I don't want
money
you to
on
waste
paint.
something, do something that doesn't make, the sense of where we're doing. The striping doesn't make any sense for how you're using the property, but the landscaping does in a fashion of how we're going to protect or do along that fence line and continue with that, that's all.
Correct. No, and we appreciate that.
I could see you doing some type of striping that would conform to your business. And again, like, you get air handles that 10 feet wide, 40 feet long, whatever. Okay, block A, that's where that air handles, that's so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well,
So,
they've got it all. They've got a lot of it.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, if they,
Okay, so you're not concerned with them having to restripe? They've complied with the building code as far as the handicap spaces, and there's some, and they can.
Right.
And they have enough parking interior existing. It's literally, we're just going to work on quantities of what they didn't do and how to beef up the fence line.
And something that'll do some coverage in the wintertime.
Okay.
An evergreen or
Okay.
something.
Jason, I'll do an email with the 3 of us, and we can get it done. You don't necessarily have to have it done by the meeting of the 12th.
Right.
We have 2 meetings in February, and then I'd say the second meeting in February or by the first meeting in March, we can kind of have it done. But I'll sign off on the,
Do we need to
CO.
continue this to a certain date?
no.
No? Okay.
No, this is just this is modification under construction.
Okay?
and that being said, you would release the bond once.
No. The
No, no,
bond
no,
is
no, no,
released
no.
for a year after the planting.
The bond's for a year.
Right, okay.
Well, I just used the example as,
If they tell us they don't do anything for a year.
if they don't come back in a year, they're going to say, well, you didn't come back to take the quantity and put it along the fence line. You're not in compliance. Go plant it, and we'll talk up in another year.
Okay.
So they're going to want to do it because they're going to want their bond back in a year.
Okay, thank you very much, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, continue public hearing for a signed special permit, case file SPP 25-006, will be held on the petition of the applicant Signed Design on behalf of owner Maltby Company. The applicant requests a special permit under section 6.2.7. The applicant is seeking to allow a freestanding sign to be 3.2 feet from the property line. The zoning bylaw requires 15 feet setback per section 6.2.4.2. The project is located at 614 Park Street, Assessors Map 77, Lot 106, in the Industrial I-Zone District. Continued from 12/18. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Chair and Board. My name is Marie Mercier. I'm with Sign Design in Brockton, here representing my client, Maltby and Company.
Okay.
So I think from the last time we had talked, you wanted to know a little bit of landscaping that Maltby would be doing to that little island strip that we were talking about putting the pylon sign on. And I think you guys were going to talk about the lighting, because you didn't have like a standard through the board, like through your town. So we're gonna, it's the same, I mean, we're back here with just the same sign.
Mr. Chairman, it's not the lighting, it's the
Illumination?
illumination, the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a,
No. No. When we say illumination screen, you're talking about a backlit sign, or you're talking about one of these
So this,
LED?
it's an EMC board, which is the Electronic Message Center. That's on a remote, so they can dim or brighten that to whatever your standards are going to be. And then the top part of the sign is, I believe that's the cabinet, internally illuminated on that cabinet.
Do we have that sign, Bill, the picture? I know, I don't have my old package with me, I'm sorry.
you want to talk about the landscaping?
We'll talk about the landscaping
Yeah, bring
first.
that up, because I don't have a copy.
It's on the back side.
It's on right here.
Flip it over.
Flip it over.
Yep, so Maltby just did a quick little
It's on the Gmail.
thing. They're gonna be putting grass, they're gonna be planting the grass within that strip. Abutting their neighbor's property, they're gonna be putting in some like rhododendrons. And at the entrance, when you pull into their parking lot, they'll be planting flowers at that entrance there.
I don't know if this is sufficient enough.
This is what this tells me?
Yeah.
Well,
That's what they submitted,
that
Mr.
was
Chairman.
because
I don't see anything on here other than a green and yellow color that tells me.
it's in, I know.
Oh, it
was
doesn't
on.
tell me
I
anything.
kind of missed it too. It was in the corner,
It's in the corner where?
the top right-hand corner.
In the upper right-hand corner,
Grass.
the yellow is some flowers, the green's grass, and then they have 3 rhododendrons.
We actually require in our bylaw that the actual photos, colored photos of the plants gets put onto a plan.
Okay.
And that they get brought in with that type of thing, so we actually know what's being brought in and being done.
So you want a formalized plan?
If we're gonna do this, we're gonna formalize plan, but, yes.
Okay.
But I wasn't think this was, the landscaping wasn't the only issue we had, if I remember correctly.
It was that, and then you didn't have issue with the location, because it
Well,
would be...
because we couldn't do anything, and the location had to do with the edge of the existing sign. It wasn't the center line of the
Right.
pole, which is what they talked about initially.
And then you had a issue with, because the previous, I forgot, whatever, another place had that message board sign, it was bright. and you
Sonic
had to-
sign or something like
and you
that
had
was
to
too bright.
Turn it down.
Right, so we had that issue previously before, and this is one of the types of signs that we've been kind of not wanting to have in town because of how badly it deals with the traffic. And this is an area of town that is not a very brightly lit area of town. It's actually a dark area of town. And to have a board that all of a sudden starts flashing and doing all sorts of things can be an issue. The other board we're talking about was Harbor One, which is actually in the center of town, much brighter, much more illuminated area, and that was causing problems with vehicles. So I'm not sure what we can do with with this sign to be able to change it, that, if we put this in there, how that doesn't become an issue down the line.
Well, I think when we had talked the last time, you were going to have an internal talk about the illuminations, and you said you had no, like, standard across the board
Don't,
on.
unfortunately, we don't, and we haven't come up with a standard, so, and the problem is, I'm not even sure, well, we could, I suppose, set something as a standard.
But
So does your sign, is there a
Put
cut
the
sheet?
sign up.
No, I understand the sign. Is there a cut sheet for the sign that would tell how the illumination, how all that controls go, and what we can do for brightness and that type of stuff on the sign?
I'm sure with the electronic message center, which is on the bottom of that sign, yes, like the top part, we're going to have lit from inside. So just that Maltby and Company and the natural tree just lights up. And then the EMC board is, I think, one of the issues that you had talked
That's where
about,
the
the
issue,
brightness.
that's the issue we really have.
Yeah, and then on that is, does it say on this? It's an 8 millimeter digital display. I would have to find that brightness on that, but there is a control that runs
Is
that.
there a way that you can get me the information on the control and on the
Yep.
way that
I
thing
could probably
operates?
get the
There
sheet.
should be some sort of cut sheet or booklet or something on that.
And I can email that,
If
or,
you could email that to Bill, and then I can take a look at that, or the board can take a look at it, and,
Then we could set parameters on what its capabilities are.
right. That way there, we'll have a better understanding.
yeah, because how it works is there's a control on the inside that the client will log on to, which they can just, put their
I
sale, whatever,
understand, but
from
I just wanna-
inside.
I want to make sure that
And
we
then,
have.
yeah, and then I know there's like a control or something that will do the brightness. Because like during the day, if it's lit, it can adjust
Yeah,
from brighter during the day to dimmer at night because it's darker at night. So it will be a little dimmer and not as bright as during the day to see it. Does that make
But
sense?
I do, but like I said, I'd like to be
Yep.
able to see what the specifications.
so you need the manufacturer specs and cut sheets.
I have that. I can get that.
Okay.
Now, what
is
type
this-
of
Is this the
messages?
sign they want to put up?
Yeah.
And it's going to have like, I see you got the flag there, it's going to be a waving flag?
That's just a standard that we throw in when we show an electronic message board.
What's going to go in that spot with the
It
flag?
messages that they have, whether it's,
It's a changeable board.
it's, yeah, it's
Like the
a
DPW
sale.
has,
It's like a miniature billboard, right?
like the DPW has.
Free stump grinding with,
Yeah, they can be putting anything in from their business to,
I hate billboards, I'd like the day when billboards are gone. And now we're getting into this age of like recreating miniature billboards everywhere,
Right.
Just, also, on the landscaping side there, is there any curbing going in around that landscape?
No, it's all existing.
Huh?
They're not.
They're not doing anything.
It
other
was
than
existing
just-
site.
Whatever the curbing, whatever's there is all they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would love to have you give some direction to the applicant on the landscape plan. I mean, I saw it and I'm like, 3 shrubs, grass, and some flowers. I don't know if that's really what the board wants. So some direction would be good that I could hear, that when the applicant sends it to me or sends me a draft, I could say, that's not what I've heard them say, maybe you should try this, so.
so you're looking like in,
I don't know
a
what
particular
direction
type
they
of
want.
flowers?
The
Or,
landscape plan was just a, is-
pull up a typical one that we.
well, no, I can show them that, but I can just tell them that,
I'm sure Maltby knows.
well, no, the landscape plan is inadequate. I mean, they just highlighted and some flowers. I think you wanted a more detailed plan. I didn't even know we needed the color photos since it's just
No, I
a
understand,
small
but I
strip.
just, right now, is that this is kind of,
They need,
this is kid stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm just sorry, it's
But
the way it's presented is
Do
not the way.
you, do you want like that grassed area, do you want that, would you like a low hedge that kind of screens the parking? What do you want? What are you looking
Paul, what
at?
are your thoughts on that?
I'd really have to go look at the site and maybe give you some ideas on what I think might be nice.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you could email them to them.
Yeah,
see what
I'll do
you-
Yeah, and then email it to me and I can give it to them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to mention one thing, though, too. This is right across the street from our future South School. And, you know, we want it to look nice around.
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
they are looking, I mean, we're there, the landscaping company
mean,
too. They are looking to
They've
dress
cleaned
it up.
better than it was. I'll
They
give
made
them
it
that
look-
much. It was-
yeah.
Exactly.
But it's looking a lot better
great.
there, but that's not, the thing is, I want to make sure that what we continue continuity. One of the question, Bill, I can't remember, is that the sign size, are we within the code for the sign size?
Yes.
Yes.
The height I thought was on the high side, but I've measured other signs within the town, and you fall within that range.
Oh, yeah, but it's whatever the code says.
Right, no, I'm just saying is,
So,
Want to continue?
I
to
know,
the next-
I know we at
continue to
Sign
the next
Design
meeting.
like to do the code checks prior to designing them up and coming before the board, because then it just means going back, changing the plans, getting the customer's approval, and coming back again. So we try to work within the code all the time.
Can we continue to the next meeting?
actually,
Well,
one quick question while he's looking that up.
well, the problem is the next meeting is the 12th, and they'd really, I'd need to,
All right, then create it for the.
it
fall-
only gives, it gives them.
create it for the following meeting.
Well, I'm just going to say, the next meeting is the 12th, and I'd need to have everything submitted to me by Monday, the 2nd, and so that gives you
We can have-
literally a week. And I don't know how much is going to be getting done on Monday.
Unless you're
Because of the
working
snow,
from
right?
home.
And that's all, you can continue to the 12th, and if you don't get that, then we'll just continue it to the next meeting, which would be the 26th. So you can continue to the 12th, hoping that you can get everything to me by the 2nd.
Okay.
And you should give me drafts so I can look at it,
Okay.
you know.
Well, you'd have to look at that before
Yeah.
Sunday, because it's going to be
All
covered.
right, is there anybody from the,
Quick question I
ahead,
have.
Peter.
What was your name again?
Marie,
What last name?
Mercier, Mercier.
Okay, never mind.
is there anybody from the public that would like to comment on this? Yes, you would like to come on up and say your name, please?
Hi.
Hi.
Lisa Lyons, Precinct 2.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Yep, so the citizens are just concerned about that signing for the same reasons the planning board has indicated, the brightness of the sign and the distraction. But that's it, if you just be cognizant of that.
We're trying to be, because
Okay,
we've
thank
been
you.
through
I'm
this
just
with-
trying to back
Thank you
you
very
up.
much for your comment.
All right, thanks.
Yep. Come on up. Name and address, please.
My name is Brian Maltby. I'm actually one of the owners.
Okay.
We
Oh,
haven't
hi,
met.
we haven't
I
met.
just wanted to just hear you guys out. As far as the landscape plan goes, the plan for us was really just grass. We are a lawn care company, natural trees, so we wanted to show off the capabilities of that. But it is at the entrance of the school, so if you guys have other ideas, we're open to that. But really grass, like nice, perfect turf was the idea for around the sign. Shrubs, we can add in at the ends. It's really just a sliver. It's not a big spot.
Right, it's not a big- we understand.
And it's never been landscaped. It's just gravel right now and
I just
stone.
said, you guys have done a good job of cleaning that up. It's always
Yeah.
been a mess down there.
That's our last part.
We
That's
appreciate it. It's
the
just trying to
ugly
get
of
to
the building is that front.
Right, it's
so
just
we
trying to
want-
get to the last point of, okay, we're going to do this, let's make it look decent if we can.
absolutely.
And maybe around the sign and the cap end to a little bit, instead of flowers, perennials and some other things. I know Mr. Belleville.
I'll be happy to come
And I
and
think,
meet you.
now that he understands he's looking for the lawn, maybe he can help you out a little bit with that, you
Yeah.
know?
I'll be happy to come and meet you at your
Absolutely.
shop if you want. I live right around the corner.
You actually did a nice job cleaning up the building.
Yep. It's a work in progress too, so.
I was so happy to see you guys move in there and make it look so nice, because
Yeah.
that's a sour spot over there.
We understand what we're trying to do with the sign is that it just becomes, that area is dark and it just becomes, those bright signs and flashing becomes a very distraction
Right.
for traffic and for cars. And that's all we're trying to control, is just, and we had it happen with, like I say, it was Harbor One and right down, and those signs really created a problem in town with people. the
Yeah,
brightness and everything
we
else.
have no intention of having the sign bright at night. It's really, we wanted to be able to see it during the day with the traffic. We've never had exposure like we do where we were over in Old Page Street. So having that sign was a crucial part of moving to where we're going. Putting a digital sign up, and we looked at the codes and the zoning, and there are a couple digital signs our neighbors have on the same street that are in the same situation as us, so we're hoping.
Some of that stuff has been on previous to what was happening, and the digital signs, the newer ones now are much more, there's brightness, and then the quick flashing of the signs. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure what you're looking to do for programming, so that's part of what we're trying to say, that we can't be having that, especially at night, having that type of stuff going on, you know?
Our plan for the digital part was really mostly just the time, date, announcements, even town announcements, like just, it's not,
I was going to ask you about that, because where the South School is there,
right.
I'm not sure what they're doing for some type of announcement sign, but, and again, that's what we want to, we don't want that all of a sudden to become the Vegas Strip with all these signs,
No, right.
you know?
I mean, updates on pests and disease current to the season for what we do. Tick a mosquito, we were going to put on just advertising that way, but
There's down on
there are
one-
other possibilities.
One, down on 123 in Abington, there's a pest company down there, and the bug of the month.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's, that's what they do, you know,
Yeah.
so.
No, I appreciate that. It's just understand from our point of view what we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen, that's all.
No, that makes sense.
Okay?
And
Thank you very
I can say the applicant, when they did their thing, they work well. I remember, I don't know if I called you or your project manager, the wall pack lights didn't have the screens on them. We drive on a Thursday night after planning board drive by, I was like shining in the road, called up, I don't know, 2-3 days later, I mean, it was done. It's done immediately,
Okay.
so.
I gotta say, I said even before you came here, is that I appreciate how well you guys have cleaned that place up, so thank you.
And then, again, as far as the landscape plan goes, if we needed to get that in within a week, we can.
Okay.
It won't be, I mean, it would be done by not a landscape architect, but we can clean it up some and put some pictures and
Well, if you work with Paul, I'm sure we can make sure.
Do you have a business card?
not on me
Okay.
now.
Well,
But,
he can just call
I mean,
over.
is tomorrow a good time?
yeah, I'm there tomorrow.
In the morning?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll swing by, and if you're not there,
There'll be somebody there, me or one of my cousins.
okay.
Okay.
Great. So can I have a motion to continue this to 12th?
So made, second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Just send me those cut sheets too, please. Thank you. Item number 5, a new public hearing will be held to petition of the applicant Stoughton Planning Board to consider and hear public comment on proposed amendment to the town of Stoughton zoning bylaw on the zoning map amended through October 29, 2025 by rezoning the following. To rezone portions of 574 and 584 Pearl Street as identified on Assessors Map 45, lots 47, 48, and 49, currently zoned RC, Residential Suburban C zone, to GB zone as shown on Figure 1. To rezone a portion of 531 Pearl Street as identified on Assessors Map 45, Lot 179, currently zoned RC, Residential Suburban C zone, to GB General Business Zone as shown on Figure 2. To rezone the portion of 2121 Central Street as identified on Assessors Map 17, Lot 26, currently zoned GB General Business Zone to RC Residential Suburban C Zone is shown in Figure 3. Item D, to rezone the portions of 452 Canton Street as identified on Assessors Map 43, lots 5, 6, and 7, currently zoned RC Residential Suburban C, zone to GB General Business Zone as shown in Figure 4, to rezone the portions of 600 and 614 Park Street as identified on Assessors Map 77, lots 105 and 106, currently zoned Residential Suburban B Zone to I Industrial Zone as shown on Figure 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll go over Figure 1, the 574 and 584. If you can see that here's the existing zoning. It goes partially through the lot. It actually doesn't cover some of their parking lot and various things. So would propose taking that and moving the general business to the property lines. So that would be Figure 1. Do you have any kind of questions or comments on that one?
Is that an easement or a paper street that goes through that property?
No, it's a lot.
That's an
It's a
additional
parcel.
lot. Oh, it's two
Who owns it?
separate lots?
Huh?
It's two separate lots then?
So there's 3 parcels there then? That little finger is a parcel?
Yes.
So then the other one, 045, 046, is that under the same ownership or how does that work?
It's under,
Is that a gas station?
no, it's not the gas station.
The Pages Market? I looked it up, but I can't
This
remember.
is across the street from where the pizza place was. Danino's.
Yeah.
And the RC is the church, and right across the street is the hair salon, one of them's the hair salon, and I don't know what the other one.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if you notice, it's lots 47, 48, and 49. So I did include the parcel.
So my question is lot 46 under the same ownership?
I do not know. I did not decide to look at doing that because it was, I'd have to look at that if lot 46 is under the same ownership.
I mean, just wondering if we're going to make, everything that's part of what's being used as general business right now, general business, whether we should include 46.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes.
are we kind of setting ourselves up for another Pleasant Street issue?
That was my question.
I'm ready to set these up to go make them residential.
Well, they're already businesses. They're existing businesses.
Yeah, but we can make them residential, correct? And then they're grandfathered in as what they are.
Well, not tonight. That would be a later, we'd have to hold another public hearing. That'd be another
No,
town
right,
meeting.
but I guess what the question is, you're looking for recommendation for us on these changes, so that's what that's what he's asking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think we need a clarification on 46 and then a clarification on what Paul's asking, but that begs the same question as before, is we need to clean up the general business definition and zoning in the bylaws, completely, just so we can straighten out whatever the issues are that some people seem to have with the general business in town.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, and maybe you don't want to move forward with this, is these small isolated general businesses, consider changing them to neighborhood business.
I think, personally.
Do we have it on the table? I don't think we have a neighborhood business.
Yeah, we do. In the zoning bylaw, yeah,
Okay.
we do have a neighborhood business.
Okay. Well, if we do, then maybe that's one of the, we'll have to clarify what neighborhood business is then, as far as, in the definition to be a general business and what's allowed. I need to take a look at that.
We all need to take a look at it. I think 576 Pleasant Street was an eye-opener for us.
Okay.
It's like,
And I see potentials here on all of these that are like putting us in that same trap.
Well, we're just trying to make, I'm just trying to make these things,
I know, I understand, but.
No, you're trying to clear-
I mean, I'm
you're trying to
looking at,
clean up.
that was a very uncomfortable situation that took
Right.
place, and
Well-
now I look at these general businesses, I've looked at a lot of them around the town, and I'm just thinking like,
well, if you wanted to consider neighborhood business, that doesn't allow mixed use, if that's your issue. So, neighborhood business allows, general business allows for larger scale commercial businesses. Neighborhood business allows for smaller, stuff. So maybe that's,
Right, but then we're back to special permit. Could the special permit come in? Somebody buys
No,
both those
if
lots,
that's
those
what,
buildings?
that's what I got to.
no, if you rezoned it to neighborhood business and not general business,
And then the special
mixed
permit,
use is not allowed in the neighborhood business. If that's what if you're concerned about these two businesses going away and somebody doing a mixed use, multifamily development,
Exactly.
if that's what you're concerned about, then maybe we should take a different view of these isolated general business and look at changing them to neighborhood business.
You bring up the zoning code and throw the neighborhood business definition up. Can you?
There's
look
not a
at-
definition of neighborhood
No, but can you,
business.
I'm sorry, can you bring up the zoning code and show the chart on the zoning code of what's allowed for neighborhood business?
Sure.
Thank you.
Give me a moment, please. I just needed to share the screen for the viewers.
the one that didn't bring my computer.
I know, I was looking to do something.
So, neighborhood business. Oh, no, mixed use is allowed. I was incorrect. It is allowed.
Okay, so what else is allowed in the neighborhood business, not allowed in the general business? Or what is the general business not allowed in the neighborhood business? Seems like they're pretty much,
What's the difference?
that's right, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Looks like they're pretty much the same going down through right now.
just another acronym that you gotta try to remember.
Small retail's allowed, large retail's not. Eating and drinking establishments are a special permit. They are permitted in the general business. Drive-throughs are not allowed. They're permitted, special permit elsewhere. Drive-through fast food establishments aren't allowed. Fast order restaurants are not allowed. They're allowed as special permits in the general business. So those are the retail changes.
What's the difference between small and large retail in terms of square footage?
just in the use table, lodging houses are not allowed. They're a special permit in general business. Membership clubs are special permits. Motive, that's all the same. There are some subtle differences.
So these are, presently, they're residential suburban, correct? And we want
No,
to ch-
presently, they're general business and split with a
Okay, 'cause
RC district. So they've got a split zoning in the lot.
Yeah, like their parking lot might be in the residential
But
portion of
what
the.
he was trying to do initially was just make the general business zone go out to the limits of the existing lot.
Okay, I got
That's
you.
all he was doing with this initially.
By doing that, does that encourage contractors to come in and do the 576 Pleasant Street? I think that's our concern.
When does this have to be in for the warrant, Bill?
I need to submit the draft to them. The warrant closes on the 1st. I can submit the draft, and then if you vote on the 12th, we can always just withdraw it.
Okay, then what I'd like to do, I guess, would be a two-step process. One would be, to change it to neighborhood business, and then take the definition of mixed use out of the table for neighborhood business.
Okay, I didn't advertise that.
But I'm asking if we had enough time for that. That's
No.
why I'm asking the thing.
No, I don't have enough time to advertise 7 and 14 days prior.
Well, why does this have to get in under this town
It
meeting?
does not.
Okay.
So we could just,
It doesn't. And then figure number 2, same issue I believe you guys have. Figure number 3, I don't know if you would have an issue with figure number 3, would be to the assisted living facility.
that's the twins, that's the,
Part of their parking lot is zone general business. It literally would be removing the general business zone off of that. We could look at that at another date if you wanted to look at neighborhood business for that area as well.
no, this figure number 3, that's the general business, is the twins salon on Central Street, next to,
The assisted living,
yeah, the assisted living's in the back, but isn't that parking lot part of the assisted living?
yes.
Just
It is,
said.
okay.
That's all I'm proposing in figure 3 is removing the general business off the assisted living property.
Now, the lot that's up front, this general business, is that the lot that has all the construction companies?
No, that's to the left. That's to the right. That's this parcel right here.
So I'm confused here. So you want to go from general business to RC?
Yeah, they just want to get the parking lot, so no, it doesn't have general
Assisted living facility, if you look at it,
Existing has the general,
part of their parking lot is zone general business.
Right,
limit the general business.
It's just moving the general business to that one locale.
yeah, I have no problem with that one.
This is the assisted
That's
living?
got, there's a
Oh,
Angelo's
that's
Pizza
way back
Shop
there,
there,
that's right.
Do you need to,
oh, sorry,
excuse me,
2137 Central, that's a Angelo's Pizza sub shop, and I believe a small neighborhood.
yeah, it's a small little strip center. So, and maybe, it sounds like you don't have issues with figure 3.
No,
No.
So, and then at some point, we may want to revisit changing neighborhood business to limiting, the mixed use and other things, and then maybe taking, this might be a future rezone to neighborhood business.
The GB.
Yeah.
Now, does that, Senior Place, do they own that strip along Henry Street? Is that so?
Yes. They surround, it's a U. They surround, they own the senior living, assisted living owns the Henry Street and around.
Then they own the strip coming out in between the GB
And
2137
and then they own the other access. So if you, right next to the GB where my cursor is, that's the entrance, that's the exit.
and that's where the equipment is all stacked up.
That's Palilio's.
They-
Palilio's.
Palilio, yes.
Yeah.
But
Used to be that the Palilios owned all that land where that
Correct,
assisted living
Right.
is. And they ended up selling it all but that piece of property.
correct. Well, it was multiple family members, I guess.
Sisters wanted out.
Those
guys-
families,
Yeah.
those town families.
When you have multiple families, you get interesting things. So it looks like you have no issues with number 3.
No issue with me.
I would think that you would like to recommend not going with, well, we can look at a vote later on.
Number 4, maybe, not, we would not go with number 4.
Not go with number 4. And then number 5 is strictly and one of the property owners couldn't be here, and he's requested that before you vote on it, that that you continue it to the next meeting because he wanted to be here. But what we're looking at doing is, we were just talking about, this is Malpe, and then this is the construction,
B and C.
seeing, right,
that's Scott.
correct. There's a small, I think it's like 14 feet at the front and 20 some odd feet at the back. And as you can see, it's a small residential strip that it could be a map error, but we've been correcting these with a thing. So he's requested that that be continued.
Who requested it?
It's Mr. Carrera,
Okay.
because he wanted to be here to discuss it. So, and he could not be here.
Is he in
That's
favor or
good.
not in favor? Is he in favor of it or not in favor of it?
He's in favor of it.
And what about that lot 108 behind Malpe's? That's zoned industrial?
Yes, so that's on industrial.
Yeah,
That whole area is industrial.
that's all, whole area. I'm not proposing a wholesale rezone of that. That would be a larger issue. I'm just looking at when we were,
So how would we do that, though? I mean, this is going to be right across the street from the new school. I mean, you know, everybody complains at town meetings about, you know, we're losing our residential quality around here and stuff, and to me, you know, how would we do this?
you'd say, I'd like to hold a public hearing to rezone these to whatever residential for a future town meeting. And then we would send notice out to the owners.
Okay,
You know,
I'm good
I
with
don't
that.
advocate, if it's existing and it's been used as industrial, I don't advocate, you know, making them non-conforming. I mean, that's, can be taking away property value and property rights.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a fight on that particular one.
That'd be
General
a fight
business-
on that.
General business and neighborhood business is not a major.
Because these are small neighborhood
businesses doing
isolated
their
general business, that
an
one's easy.
Isolated, in
Because
changing
we're
an
not
industrial to a
making them
residential.
non-conforming. Sorry.
Somebody could actually do that, say it's a taking on the way that they're doing it, you know what I'm saying?
Now, just while we're on the subject, that back lot where the eye happens to be, there's nothing in that lot, correct? If you look.
In this back lot?
Right. I don't see any buildings stipulated there, I mean, is that wetland, or?
It could be. I can,
And I don't know, who owns that property?
I'm just pulling up the RGIS system because that has the owner data.
Poppy's only one of the lots. But not the lot that we're talking about.
I don't know why that's.
Do you see the water that's there?
So that's a wetlands?
Yeah, it's all wetlands.
All right, so nothing's ever gonna happen.
So it doesn't really matter whether it was zoned. But let's see, I'll look at the ownership data. CMC Park Realty owns that. Richard Loon, it's a real estate trust, owns this. Town of Stoughton owns that.
Yeah, that piece isn't included in what you
Okay,
propose, though.
but I was just curious on that piece of where it's industrial, if something else, but I see a pond in there, so. Bill, I'm all set, I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, that's all wetlands in the back.
Is that why this is blue?
Why that? Yeah, no.
All right, so we're going to hold off that till the next meeting anyway, because Mr. Carraro wanted to be part of that meeting.
Yeah, if you want to, because I have to send a draft.
Well, and the only one that we're really looking at then will be the item number 3.
3 and 5, if you,
Yeah, 3 and 5, I guess, is the two.
so if you, so figure 3, that is Central Street,
Yep, and figure 5.
and figure 5. Do you wish to look at voting to, do you wish me to take out A, B, and D and only go with C and E as a draft that we submit, and then you can vote on it on the 12th?
Yes,
Huh?
yes.
So if you want to, if you'd vote to remove A, B, and D and only submit, and then we'll,
Well, we don't need to vote on it, I mean, this is just a discussion.
Right.
But you're going to set it up for a vote for the next meeting, and we're only going to be talking about C and E when we set it up to vote, when we see the revised
Okay,
article.
so I'll, because by February 1st, I have to send at least a draft to them.
Right, so
And
that-
I'd rather send them a draft of, I know you're voting A, B, and D out.
Right, so set up a draft for C and E, and then we'll be done, okay?
Okay.
All right, can I have a motion to continue this meeting till February 12th, I guess?
Well said.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 6, new public hearing will be held on the petition of the applicant Stoughton Planning Board to consider and hear public comment on proposed amendment of the town Stoughton zoning bylaws to provide for establishment of a new Section 7.6 senior housing development to establish regulations and definitions, including changes to Section 3.1.4 Table of Use Regulations and Section 11 definitions. Bill, the floor is yours.
Just share my window.
Five people who buy a team, go on the Micah Parsons. And chat, we have this.
I was asked to look at writing a senior bylaw for the town. So,
Who asked?
well, it was initially asked by the impetus and start of this was that the chair of the redevelopment authority, Ms. Haybeck, Roberta, was looking at wanting to do a senior development of cottage style adjacent to the senior center on a approximately 2-acre parcel. And that, you know, we were slowly working on it. We were looking at an overall amendment for planned residential development that included seniors and everything. She's, that is not, would not be ready for this town meeting. She spoke to my boss and we discussed it. So we decided to look at forwarding on a senior piece of that. So that's kind of where that kind of started from. What we wanted to look at is currently senior housing is allowed only if it is developed by the housing authority, which they're not developing any. There's no federal and state money anymore to do housing authorities. We do get a lot of inquiries regarding senior developments, you know, if they're allowed privately, but they aren't. So this is looking at trying to respond to that.
Now, this property the town owns at the senior center that Roberta is interested with her plan,
Yes, the town does own that property.
so why can't we just handle that individual property for that
Because-
purpose?
Because it wouldn't be a town project. We would look at sending, most likely, if the select board wished to do that on that piece of property, they would send out an RFP for a developer to purchase it and develop it under, you know, a certain agreement that it does that. That's not considered a municipal project. That's private once
No, I
that's
guess what
done.
he's asking is why couldn't we just rezone that one piece of property for Roberta until we get the.
We don't have any, rezone it to what? We have no zoning that would allow anything. Spot zone. And our multifamily zone isn't multifamily zone, Mr. Chairman. The multifamily zone that we have, it got, after all the multifamily got built, it was changed in the 90s, just like the rest of the town was upzoned. And multifamily in our code, if you look at it, requires 12,000 square feet per unit plus 2,000 square feet for every bedroom. So a 2-bedroom apartment would require 13,000 square feet. That's how you figure your density. That's less than 4 units to the acre. That's most of the, you know, I would say 40% or 30 or 40% of the lots in the town of Stoughton are almost 15,000 square feet, 10 and 15,000 square feet. So, yeah, there's no way to create a zone to do that. This was the most effective and efficient way to look at dealing with that.
Question, does this have
Did you-
anything? Does the senior housing have any bylaws or requirements in terms of affordability?
The way this bylaw is set up, it sets up some design guidelines, if you've read it. It talks about placement of buildings. We have dimensional standards, parking, keeping perimeter setbacks the same. It would allow for, in the interior of the building, of the thing, up to 3 stories. There's a density calculation. I am looking to see, there's no mandated requirement for affordability.
So what makes it special then? What makes it special in terms of being a seniors, housing for seniors? Usually, when you think of seniors, there's a fixed income issue. Therefore, like the Hebrew Senior Center. And so I don't understand.
This is to allow for a market rate, this would allow for a market rate development that's restricted to seniors.
Okay.
Bill, just for everybody on the board here, because I know RM is residential multi-use.
RM is multifamily.
Multifamily. Can you just go through all those principal uses and what they actually are, and why we have so many different residentials, A, B, C, U?
It's an old holdover from the zoning. If you look at it, there's residential urban. A lot of that is on surrounding, if you looked at the zoning map, it's surrounding the town center. And then residential A is the largest lot size, and that is, well, it's rather residential A and residential B are both minimum 55,000 square feet. The difference between our residential A and B is frontage and lots and lot depth and the setbacks. There's like 3 differences in the use table. RA and RB are almost the same. One requires 150 feet of frontage, one requires 125 feet of frontage. One requires 150 feet of depth, one requires 180 feet of depth, RA does. And then, then one of them has a greater rear yard setback. Other than that, the rest of the height, sides, fronts are all the same. RB and RC are typically, they were, you know, they're in other areas of the town. I can pull up the zoning map and kind of show you color-wise where they are. Huh?
Please.
Okay.
Actually, you just had it up
I'm
there.
going to have a general public, when the board gets to asking questions, then the general public can talk. Thank you.
I wish I hadn't gotten rid of the,
You just had it up there.
I know I just had it up there. I know, I have to go through the town.
How many times a day do you go through this, Bill? or you have it open all the time?
The GIS, I usually have we have it open on the front counter, and I have it open on my thing. So I'll start in the upper portion of the town. Everything over on Technology Center Drive is zoned highway business. If you can, I need to share my screen with the folks, hold on. I gotta.
Who's online besides you and Craig?
Smack. It's being recorded.
Oh,
Who's that other guy to the right?
but don't they see through the cameras? No. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, I guess they can, so.
Yeah, so you really don't need to share it.
Well, unless the cameras can't see the board, though. That's the issue.
Oh.
The cameras can't see the TV.
Well, no, he can zoom in on the,
TV?
okay. So, the only highway business we have in town is here. Then from the 24-139 interchange, that's predominantly industrial. It follows along Route 24, Page Street, Maple Street, IKEA Way. That's this swath of industrial. See the purple? And then just adjacent on the other side of Turnpike Street is a strip of neighborhood business. So some of those businesses that are along Turnpike Street.
Is that where the Dunkin' Donuts is?
The Dunkin' Donuts,
The bank, the childcare?
the
The gas station that's on the corner of Page
gas
Street.
stations.
The two gas
So-
stations.
And then, along between Turnpike Street, Pleasant Street, and Washington Street, a significant portion of that is all single-family RC. There is some pockets of GB, and along Washington Street, as you enter Canton, is some general business, and then there must be one big thing of
It's a complex, it's a apartment building.
no, it's this is a zone industrial.
Oh, no,
It's-
that's
it's owned
the,
by, it's a switching station,
Yeah, Eversource,
Eversource.
While you're right there, what's the zoning on the Sinai?
Sinai is zoned RC with a small portion of GB. And then as you move along the Canton line, then it goes back to RC with some pockets of general business that we've just pulled off the table that are along Pearl Street. And then as you keep on moving along that town line, then you have the Central Street, Tosca Drive, and all of that area back there is all zoned industrial. Adjacent to that is the RM district where all those condos and multifamily are. Right on the edge of Sharon Street, across from the thing, is a strip of general business. That's where the new Dunkin' Donuts was built. And I think
Mike's is going in
Jersey
there.
Mike's or whatever is going in. We've adjusted that area. As you can see, Central Street, South, School Street, kind of makes your way through along Bay Road. Vast majority of that is zoned RC with, and then for some reason, half of this subdivision is zoned RA, which is, Smith Avenue, Robinette Road. It looks like it should have, it's all zoned. It's an isolated zone of RA.
They tried to squeeze more houses in there is what they did.
No, RA
More restrictive,
More distance.
is larger.
the large lots. And they didn't change.
This was all developed prior, the zoning that we have now, which is all single-family, 40,000, 55,000 square lot size, was all done in the late 90s.
Should that RA be changed, be seeing what it actually is?
It doesn't really matter. It's all, everything here is non-conforming. These lots aren't 1 acre lots.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is,
But RC isn't one acre. We don't have a zoning that meets these size lots.
No, because in the late 90s, we had zoning that allowed 10,000, 15,000 square foot lot size. And you see, these are 15, let's see, I'll just pull.
There was changed, and everything in town went to the NIMBY situation, so it made huge lots so that we couldn't make any more of the small lots.
okay.
So a lot of small lots in town got nixed to being able to use. And part of that is the smaller lots have a trouble because the septic and the water can't get on the same lot to meet all of the Title V regulations, so the tiny lots weren't workable anyway.
And back then, too, we didn't have the town water we have now.
Right, everybody was on wells and.
Everybody was on well, yeah.
Right.
Which I still am. I'm part of that. I couldn't get town water.
Too, we couldn't get.
Part of that well generation?
I'm glad I have it.
Generation well.
I'm glad I have it. It's a lot cheaper than town water.
So you've got a small pocket here. And then, the Stoughton Center District is
Is that where the RU is predominantly?
you have the transition core and flex. So and then if you branch out from the Stoughton Center District, which is, basically these crossroads, you see how RU is on the east, the south, and see how the RU just loops around?
Yep.
And then as you go down Washington Street, there's a large general business. So that's where, just past that's where all the, as you're heading out Washington Street, it's all general business.
Phillips, the old Phillips Screw Building, is that,
That's right here. We
Fast
changed that
food,
from
right.
industrial to general business.
okay.
And then there are these isolated, then you have the Tosca Drive, and then there's some industrial that comes down Cushing Street and Canton Street to close to the town center, some of those old industrial. And then as you move further, the southern portion is, as you go down Bay Road and the Brockton and Easton lines and Sharon lines.
All right.
That's all RA down there. As you enter in on 27 on Washington Street, on 138, there's some general business here. And then there's some smaller pockets of RC here and here, and RA along the 27 as you enter in 27, the shopping center, where next to the church is zoned neighborhood business, but then all of these other smaller things across the street is zoned general business. That really should be neighborhood business. There's a small industrial piece that's all offices and stuff that should be potentially changed. And then the general business here, which is the restaurant, should probably be neighborhood business. But maybe we need to reshape what the uses are in neighborhood business.
I think that's one of the discussions I think we need to have is that.
The Italian one, it just got next to the golf course.
So, anyway, I think we'll just sort of work with what you have here, Bill. I think just even showing what you just showed and showing where all the different areas, what you're proposing on the senior housing is that the senior housing would basically be able to go anywhere that's in our district in town.
As long as it has sewer and water.
Right. What we're trying, I think what I'd like to see, and the board could kind of correct me if I'm wrong, is that we limit this to the RM and the RU districts. I think it does two things. I think there's going to be some resistance at town meeting for this type of development going in because it's going to be more compact than what most of these areas are looking for. And second off, is going to give you a better chance to be able to get this a foothold and get something put through in the town that would actually work.
Mm-hmm.
I was also thinking maybe somewhere along the lines with general business or neighborhood business too. I agree with you on the,
I wouldn't put neighborhood business, but maybe general business.
maybe general business.
Quick question, what is Campanelli that it parked down there?
That's the industrial 2, I2 zone.
Okay.
Not proposing it in any industrial.
No, but well, the reason why I'm asking is that does have water and surge down there.
Right, but that's not.
Right. But it's not a residential.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, on page, on section 766, item number 3, residential density. Now, those different size sites, is that how you would like make it RA, RU, RC?
no, I'm not making it.
So if a lot came in at 1 to 2 acres, we wouldn't specify it's like an R?
No.
No,
Whatever
okay.
the zoning is in the town is the present zoning is what it is. So
Wait.
what he just showed you right now is we showed you the RM, RU, RC. Those are the exact, that's what's here now. What we're trying to say about this chart is that if we're going to town meeting, we want to propose the senior housing development, right now we're showing that the planning board, it would be a special permit for planning board through all of the R districts. What I'm trying to suggest is that we would only put it in the RM and RU district and don't allow it in the RC, RB, and RA district.
There's no need for the RM district because the RM district is 100% built out. Literally.
Yeah, but there's always the chance that people can take property down and rebuild if they want to do that. It's presently,
These are huge developments that are there. That's all of the RM district. We can do that, but it doesn't apply.
well, I mean, you had it in here as the planning board anyway, so I'm following what you had
Right.
already.
Yeah.
You already had it in there, I'm just following what you had, to leave it there.
Would you consider
You had
the
planning
RA
board.
and RB are the big single-family districts. The RC allows for the 35,000, it allows for 35,000 square foot lot size. It's smaller. It's adjacent, a lot of that is adjacent to, some of it is adjacent to the RU district.
Right, but I guess what I'm trying to get at, Bill, is that the town, prior to all of us sitting here, had created single-family zoned areas in town. And I think that's the RA through RC districts, trying to follow where the town wanted multifamily. And I think, Paul's right, is that general business allowed multifamily with the provision of some commercial with it. So, I mean, if you wanted to say it was the RM, RU, and GB districts, I think we could go with that, but to try to, what I'm trying to do now is, this is just a board, but I'm trying to give us a way to actually make this happen, because if we go before town meeting,
Well, is this something that the board wants? Is this something that?
I think the
are
board
you in
does
favor?
want senior housing, but it's a matter of where it's being placed in town.
Okay.
That's really all it comes down to. I think that there's no question the town needs senior housing, the board wants senior housing. That's not, at least from my point of view, the rest of the board, I don't want to be speaking for all of you. I believe that's the way I feel anyway. And I'm not sure whether anybody else does.
But it has to be zoned properly. This came to town meeting 4 or 5 years ago, and it was very broad like this is, and it totally failed town meeting. One of the biggest fears was that somebody could come into a residential area, knock down a few houses, and start building senior housing. And that's something that definitely would be brought up at town meeting if A, B, and C were involved.
Okay. So remove A, B, and C, add it to GB
Yeah.
as a special permit. The bylaw itself,
Okay, so, where was the part? I guess the one thing that we should look at is the density. Are we okay with the way the density is set up right now?
Right, and then the building height issue, thing too, I need that explained a little bit more.
Yeah,
Number 4. I don't exactly understand what that says.
What it's saying is, it says that any homes that are around that perimeter, so if it's a majority of, single-level homes or a majority of 2.5-story homes, then the buildings that we're building there can't be any higher than those homes.
Okay,
Other than if there's no other homes in the area, then the maximum building height would be 3 stories.
okay. So if that was, they were putting one in like an industrial zoned area, they
Well,
could
we
go
won't
3.
be in an industrial zone. It can't, we don't have industrial zone in this bylaw. We're talking about RM, RU, and general
Okay,
business.
all right. I just, again, I'm a little gun shy on the 3 stories and, near residential areas.
No, that's perfectly.
Fine.
No, I have a question too
it
about,
actually, it would be it's not the height of the home, it's the height of the, whatever under the zone is.
Yeah, the zoning district.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I
This-
misread that. So
Single
whatever the height
family,
of the
single
zoning
family
district-
allows 35 feet.
35 feet, so.
Okay.
So,
So
and
two
what we're
stories.
saying is, if you had a project that's, 5 acres or greater, anything around the perimeter would have to meet the setback of the zone.
So it would be
the-
gradual.
The RU district.
Okay, I got you.
Or the GB district or whatever. And then within the middle of the site, you could go 3 stories.
As long as it was all and it would all be senior housing, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
my question is just above that, the chart there, 1 to 2 acres, 8 units per acre. And we go above 5 acres, it jumps to 18 units per acre. That's quite an increase.
Right, but what they're trying to say is on a 5-acre lot, you're going to put a larger building, than you are going to be on a 2-acre lot.
Yeah, you have more flexibility.
That's a lot, though.
So in a situation like that, if it's 5
I
acres.
mean, if you think about it, Paul, what we just did, we had an acre and a half, we put 42 units on it.
The footprint and the
footprint
parking of that area.
Of that area was an acre and a half.
Right.
And then we put 40, so I mean, the density of 18 units, initially it sounds a lot, but it really isn't when you
It
start
isn't.
looking at the overall building.
If you look
size.
at what was approved the other night,
Right.
Which we weren't all thrilled
I
about.
understand that, but you look at an acre and a half or whatever it was, 43 units, and it met everything.
Right, but there was also a vast amount of woods and property around that as well. If you have an acre and a half and your property line is here, and then there's a house right at that
But-
property
but-
line.
But once you get your setbacks and any perimeter, if you can only do 35 feet height, you can only in the interior of the site do, the 3 stories.
It's going to get limited to where you are.
Right, but side setbacks are usually small, they're 15 feet, right? They're not hundreds of feet.
Yeah, the rear, it's, this bylaw talks about it, it's 20 feet.
20
For the
feet,
rear.
right.
Over at Camp and Evan, we've got 200 feet of buffers.
Now, when you talk 3 stories high, are you also including air conditioning units on top of that?
Well, air conditioning units are, under the building code are exempt,
Now, what?
are exempt.
Okay.
That's just a mechanical appurtenance, or like the elevator shafts are usually exempt too.
Okay. Yeah, because if it's going to be senior housing, it's going to have an elevator.
Yeah.
Are we able to adjust the setbacks and stuff too, or?
You can adjust and do anything you want with this.
Okay.
This is a proposal.
All right.
This is not written in stone.
Right.
You can,
I know that the setbacks and stuff that we presently have in Stoughton, I think, are a little bit tight for certain situations.
Right, but right now, the way that this one is set back is got for 20 feet for this particular property, for this particular area. If you're going to senior housing, it has to be 20 feet of the perimeter property.
yeah, well, the rear yard abutting perimeter shall be a minimum of 20 feet. No rear yards in the interior. If you have like an interior cottage-style development, you don't have to have that. So the front yard setbacks along existing streets shall be consistent with the front yard setback of whatever the base zone is. So whatever the RM, GB is, usually about 20 feet along the street. Interior, if they built an interior driveway or whatnot, there's no interior setbacks. It's based on special permit and the design. It allows for the flexibility. So it's the front yard setback of whatever the zone is, the rear yard setback of 20 feet, and then for buildings of interior drives,
Yeah, run that by me, will you, with the 0 feet?
that's for interior, if you had an interior driveway, you don't have to have a setback off the driveways.
So as if the site had its own streets.
Or if it had its own streets, you can build right up to the, you have your, through your design, you'd
That's
have your.
the 6 feet that the
You'd have
city
your,
owns.
you'd have your interior driveway / street, sidewalk. You could have, the steps and then create, rear parking. It's all about allowing flexibility of
Within the design of the.
design, neo-traditional design.
They're looking at instead of looking at single building pole, subdivision designs. So what they're trying to say is the street within this would be a private way, it wouldn't be the town way.
Right.
So that street, the setbacks and stuff off of that street, but the site, if it's say it's a 5-acre site, the setbacks are where the 5-acre site is to the adjacent properties.
Gotcha.
But anything inside here can be tight as they
Right.
want in order that it fits their design.
Okay.
Now, can we do anything about, once you get into like these larger units, about two means of egress, so to speak, 2 driveways? Because,
That's a function of the fire department.
Design.
right, but I mean, I was at Market Basket the other night, they had a fire at the store. All these trucks come rushing in, and granted, it's a big, wide open parking lot. But if you have one of these big apartment buildings, 576, for example, I had heartburn, there's only one means of egress in there. Had there been an actual fire, it would have been jam-packed with fire trucks and ambulances. So I don't know if when we get into something above 40 units, requesting or, mandating two means of egress, one way in, one way, another way out.
If they share a driveway.
So I'm not sure that, part of the whole reason they're going through a police and fire was that they're the ones that set those kind of requirements, but every site is gonna have something different as far as when you say two ways, and, because not every property, depending on the way the loop goes or the way that they're gonna set the building up, is gonna allow for that.
Right, but we accommodate for that in the width of the entrance. So you have,
Yeah. So the one thing I will add on the side setback, that's all about internal. I need to add the same front. The perimeter side setback is whatever in the base zone. We have the rear setback of 20. We have the front setbacks along the road. I need to add the perimeter of the base zone, whatever the side setback is in the base zone.
yeah.
I didn't add that in there. I only dealt with that. So that's a change that I need to make. I'm writing notes on that. There is some, design guidelines on this, so. Are there any other potential changes, deletions, additions?
I don't know, I still think that above 5 acres, 18 units per acre, that's a little steep.
Where would you like to see it?
That would be 55 units, right?
No, this would be, at 5 acres, you'd end up with 18, it's 90 units,
How many?
90.
90.
I mean, we go from 8 to 12.
Could they squeeze it? I mean, that would require a taller building, wouldn't it? Could you
For
squeeze?
5 acres?
5 acres, could you squeeze 90 units in there?
You put a project of 1.5 acres had 43 units, so 3 acres would be 90 almost.
So what are they?
And this
the
is
houses
5
are-
acres.
So the
This is-
houses are like 10 feet apart or something like?
Huh?
Doesn't necessarily have to be houses, it can be a building similar to what we just approved a
Right,
couple
just
weeks
leave-
ago.
yeah,
I mean, they're
right.
talking about, they want to do cottage-style buildings, houses, but they're leaving the opportunity to be able to put an apartment building also.
The way the zoning sets up for the under 2 acres, that 8 acres, that's 5,000 square foot lot size. I mean, that's what it amounts to. That could really is more single cottage style development or a double row of a smaller thing of townhouses or duplex development. The 2 to 5 acres is the 12 units. That would increase, instead of like the duplex type development, that would allow for a little greater density. And then the greater than 5 acres, you have a lot of, leeway and with your special permit and the design, keep the perimeter setbacks. And then look at internal.
So, and if you look at the last page, the section 7.6.8, this is similar to what happened on the last one. We had 6 criteria for special permit. There's 4 specific criteria for approval of this project based upon the design and the special permit review. So these would be the guidelines that would be falling under, when that type of a project came up. So that would, we follow down through those, whether we accept or deny it based upon those guidelines.
You have the normal criteria for special permit, and then you have additional criteria.
Additional criteria, right.
I don't know, I'd feel better if that 18 was maybe 16. And I don't know if you want to go to something bigger than that, after 6 acres and up for more units, I don't know.
No, this is greater than 5 acres.
Oh, just period, greater than 5, right?
2 to 5 is 12.
The other thing, if you're talking senior housing, seniors over 65, speaking of as one.
Actually, it's the federal definition.
Right, but the point I'm getting
Yeah, but
at,
that's 55.
once you hit 65, you want everything on one level. You really don't want a 2-story.
Yeah, it's what the market bears.
Correct. So, I mean, it's,
But if you're at, it's 55 years old is what the federal guideline.
That's the federal definition.
right, no, I get that, but I'm just saying.
The way I've done that is to meet fair housing law.
Yeah. I mean, there's,
I mean, again, that's a design thing with whoever the person's going to design it.
you know, you look at Pondview, when they put that in,
Perfect
that was
example.
over 55. And they come back 3 years later, they couldn't sell the places what they want, so they had to remove that 55
Restriction,
age
yeah.
restriction. And, you know, that's something you have to kind of stick to. If it's going to be over 55, it stays that way.
Yeah, that should be something that's in there as well, that's etched in stone. If it's going to be senior, it's senior. It's not, well, the development didn't sell, let's bring in a bunch of families with kids instead.
Yeah, they have no sidewalks in there, they have, you know, there's a number of things wrong with that development.
Yeah.
You know, because they built it for over 55, but then came,
I don't know the process. Did it go through site plan review, special
Before
permit?
me, before my
That was a
time.
40B project you're talking about on Turnpike Street?
That's a 40B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it was over 55, but then
That
he
was all
couldn't sell
done
them.
through 40B.
What's that?
That's 40B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, but when it was proposed, it was a senior development, over 55.
Do we have our own definition of senior?
Well, that's what
To
this
be
is-
65?
No, what he's trying to say, he's trying to beat with other guidelines, which would be 55.
Right.
Yeah, it's at the back page.
And under 73.
Yeah.
No, because like I said, I wasn't happy when he was able to then take that 55 off of that and just sell it to anybody, you know? That was the whole reason at past town meeting, everything, there was going to be an over 55 development.
Okay.
It didn't,
Pull up the Wetlands Act down that area.
true.
All right, so right now, Bill, with those changes that we've kind of discussed, I think that would be the way to bring the draft bylaw in. So the changes to the districts, the changes to
Add the perimeter, add the side setbacks.
perimeter and side setbacks that you discussed, change the greater than 5 acres to 16.
And I'll look what the setbacks are. Yeah, okay.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak? Come on up.
Hi, Lisa Lyons, Precinct 2. The planning board has brought up amazing points tonight that any resident wants to hear, so I'm thanking you for the taxpayers. Thank you so much. I just had a question for Mr. Roth. With the changes that were suggested by Mr. Demuse and Mr. Kelly with limiting where this housing could go, which would remain at RU, GB, and RM, and would it exclude, I'm just confirming what I understood, exclude the RA, RB, and RC areas?
That's
what
what
we're proposing.
that's what they want me to make that change.
Right, and I'm saying that's amazing. So, based on my conversation with you earlier, when I asked you, which is what Mr. Demuse brought up, that as it was written before these suggested changes, it wouldn't protect the designated residential areas. My question to you is, with the suggested changes that Mr. Kelly and Mr. Demuse was making, would that then protect the residential areas in town?
Well, it would.
Or prohibit the,
That's a hard question to ask because the RU district is a single-family district, but it does allow for two-family under special permit currently.
Okay, then let me reword it. I'm
so
talking specifically for the RA, RB, and RC areas.
Those are the traditional larger lot, single-family zones.
So when I asked you before the meeting, I said, as this law is currently written, could somebody buy two houses next to each other, increasing and and change the character of the neighborhood.
We are not suggesting that it be put into RA, B, or C. So therefore, it would not be allowed in those districts.
So that
Yeah.
concern that it had
It
earlier
wouldn't be
would
allowed
be.
in those 3 single-family districts.
Okay.
However, the RU district is a single-family district. It's
Understood.
It's what
Understood.
surrounds the town center.
Okay, understood. And then, could you just explain to me and the people that might be watching that this law, or bylaw, right? Explain, when you say residential development versus senior housing, you said this is not just a senior housing bylaw change.
It's only senior housing.
It is only
Yeah.
senior housing. Okay, then that's all I had, and thank you, gentlemen, so much for caring.
Thank you very much.
And the other thing with the IU district too, that's more around the center of town. That's where seniors would really want to be, that they could walk to the store too.
Yes, sir.
Emil Barboza, Precinct 2. Just wanted to say great discussion between you guys. I'm sure you guys are going to figure it out, but I am in support of more senior housing. We have an aging population here in Stoughton, and it's good to try to keep them in town and, from going anywhere else. I see it all around other towns. People are in towns for 10, 20, 30 years, and then they need solution for housing, and then they end up going somewhere else. So I do think we need more senior housing in town. So
One thing to keep in mind with senior housing is anyone from anywhere can apply to be in that particular senior housing.
This isn't affordable.
This isn't affordable either. These are going to be,
This
is
isn't
set up
like
for
the-
resident, I mean,
this
for
isn't like the
market
other one.
rate, so anybody can buy. It's not a,
This is just a development,
Well, let me ask you this question. Is this ownership housing, or is it rental?
it could be either.
It could
We're
be
not
either.
restricting.
depending, it could be either. It could be condos, it could be rental, it could be cottage style, it could be anything.
So referring back to, and I don't mean to take it, but I mean, one of the issues that came about with Pondview, when they built those houses down there, their prices they were selling for were comparable to a single-family house within the neighborhood. So in order to move from, let's say, my house 3 streets up down into that area, I could sell my house, take that money, flip it over and buy that, but then I'm going to start getting whacked with the condo fees and everything else. So the problem is, it's what the market bears, unfortunately.
It's market rate housing. Well, there's no money going into this, so it only can be market rate housing.
Right, but
All we're doing is just designating areas, and I appreciate you, that for seniors to have an area to be able to live in. Now, there's no, unfortunately, right now, like Bill said with the outset of this, there's no government money to be able to subsidize a developer to be able to come in. So there's no way for us to be able to put any restrictions as far as that type of stuff, goes on it. The only thing that could be inserted into it would be that if they're going to go this way, a certain percentage would have to be for market rate. But I don't think we're into that right now. We haven't had that discussion at this point in time. A certain percentage would have to be, not market rate, but a certain percentage would have to be low income or moderate income to be able, that would be the only other discussion.
well, either way, I do support more senior housing in town.
Great.
So.
Thank you.
thanks.
Would you, and I just throw this out because, would you want me to add a section in there that allows that if there is a certain amount of the 10% affordable, that they can get a bonus, a density bonus?
Yeah, I was almost thinking that maybe we cut back the density in order to encourage the
Affordable aspect.
affordable. The issue I have with the affordable in town, and this is a personal thing, is we are well above the affordable requirements in town for what we need. And we keep on pushing that on developers to be able to subsidize that. However, with senior housing, I am much more open to having affordable housing because I think that's what's needed for seniors.
I don't think it's, I don't think you should mandate it.
No,
one will use
no,
it.
I don't think we should mandate it. I think you're right. I think we should do it.
Incentivize it, yeah.
Incentivize it, but to incentivize it, then maybe we drop, in order to make it click in quicker, is we drop back on the density regulations at the outset in order that they can increase the density regulations. So in other words, instead of saying, at the greater than 2 acres, we say 12, make it 10 units per acre, and then if they increase it, they can go to density. 18, we already cut back to 16, so yeah, after 16, then that would be, incentive to be able to go with multifamily. I mean, with moderate housing or low-income housing.
So you want the 12 to go to 10?
And then after that, right, and then we'd incentivize it from there.
Yeah, there is.
Is there somebody online that would like to speak to this project?
Yes, Roberta Harback.
Hi, can we turn the volume up? I can't hear her.
Roberta, can you turn your volume up? We can hear you now.
Okay, I'm real close. Okay, hi, everybody. Roberta Harback, Redevelopment Authority. I'm just curious to start. I believe that land next to the Council on Aging on Lambert is zoned RC.
Yes, it
It was
is.
changed. So basically, the project that I want to do is null and void. If this passes, because you do not want RC zoning for senior housing, is that correct?
We've asked to have, we've said that RC would not be included in this zone. That's correct.
All right, so basically for 3 years I've done all this canceling into place and I am not getting anywhere, unfortunately. Because this project that I want to do is next.
Is there something we can do with the zoning on that particular part? Because isn't it all town owned?
It's small. I mean, it's under 2 acres. I wanted to put, very small, 24 by 24, ADU, 1 level. You pull up to your body of your house, your 6 steps, you're in your home, owner occupied. They would be affordable, not in the affordable thing. They'd be affordable because they would be small.
Blow that up.
They would have access to the Council on Aging.
What's the cross street, Roberta?
It's considered Lambert Ave. It's on the corner of Lambert and Rockland. It's those 2 lots that you changed to have the same zoning a few town meetings back.
Could this be incentivized?
The thing is, if I had known that you wanted to hear about this, I would have had plenty of information to give you. I'm just going to talk while he's looking it up to try to spell it to you. They would be owner occupied. They would be 1 level. Yes, they would be very small, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. The thing about senior housing, I was on that group. The youngest senior now is 61 years old. And everybody's talking about senior housing, but, in 25 years, we're all going to be dead. I mean, I hate to say it like that.
Roberta,
you may want to change a grandfather in senior housing to be so many years. Go ahead, sorry.
Let me explain to you, the reason why we took the RC out was not to block your project. Your project's kind of an isolated project as far as that area of town because it's such a isolated part of town. The reason for taking out the RA, B, and C is that we're trying to get the senior housing actually put through. My feeling is that going to town meeting and leaving RC or RA, B, and C in there, it's going to struggle to get through town because you're looking at 1 lot, but there's RC all over town that maybe the senior housing isn't as appropriate. Isn't as appropriate as where it is where you are. So therefore, maybe it's an idea that we take the senior center, which owns most of that property, and the other two lots, rezone that area so that it would be into an RM or an RU.
RU is adjacent to these 2 lots.
Okay, so we have RU adjacent. We could rezone those lots to an RU, and that would allow this zoning to happen within, and your project would still come into play.
Okay, because that zoning was already changed to supposedly accommodate this.
Excuse
a town
me?
meeting of ago. It's kind of like it was changed to accommodate it, and now it's not accommodated. I'm not. It's kind of frustrating, I guess.
What, was it changed once already, Roberta?
Oh, yeah, because both of those lots were zoned two different things. I believe one of the lots was general business, because I believe there's a concrete pad there. I think there was something there.
Right, but we didn't have-
And,
One
of our-
the other
Roberta.
one next to it, so they were married together to be, now I guess RC.
Okay, so
Yeah,
this
Mr.
would, that happened prior to this board, and happened prior to,
No, Mr. Chairman, this was one of the first,
oh, is that what it was when we
what it
changed
was. And since it was owned by the Housing Authority, it was deemed to be zoned RC. However, Roberta, this is adjacent to RU, so rezoning these two parcels and possibly the senior center to
I would do the senior
RU
center, yeah.
would not be that difficult. Well, it would be complementary because it would not be spot zoning because RU is adjacent.
Right.
right, so I think we
Okay,
can,
I don't believe that land was ever owned by the Housing Authority. The town bought that parcel.
Or
from
the
the
I'm sorry,
previous
not the
owner.
housing, the senior center. The reason why it was zoned RC is because it was under common ownership with the housing authority.
right, and we weren't, at that point in time, we were just trying to make conformity to that, but now that we have a senior housing bylaw that we're trying to put into effect, we're trying, and you trying to accommodate what you would like, Roberta, and also I think what would be best for that area, because I do agree that area should get built and something should be used there for seniors. I think changing that to an RU, and that would be consistent with the senior housing bylaw, and it would make things work. I think it would be the best way to work for everybody instead of trying to change the entire town to RC and not even get this bylaw put through. Because
No, I wouldn't want my neighbor knocking down their two homes and whatever. I totally agree with you, but now I'm saying it's RC, it was changed to accommodate, and now it's not, and I'm just saying, I've been working on this since Robin Grimm was here, so it's kind of frustrating that it's very, very slow moving. Everything is just very slow moving.
Well, this would actually move pretty quickly to change that to RU.
You could do it in the fall,
right, fall town meeting.
if this bylaw passes.
If we have a
Right.
fall town meeting.
And the planning board could initiate that.
Right.
Yeah, so, that just, like I said, it's frustrating, because now it's another 6 months, and another 6 months, and, it's been then another year, and that's all. I mean, I appreciate whatever can be done, it just,
We're doing.
it is what it is.
I understand it's
It never got the proper attention in the past, and now we're trying to put it all together.
Right.
Thank you for
Right,
bringing
like
all
I
this
said,
up,
if I
Roberta.
had known, I would have been prepared, but I was, they was supposed to stay more generic, so I was to take a back seat for a while, but I felt I needed to call and try to sell it, but I
Roberta,
appreciate whatever you can
we
do, guys.
we appreciate you putting this forward, and I think it's, if we can make this all come together, yes, it's going to take a little bit of time this year, but then we'll have, at least have a proposal and a bylaw that we can go forward with for senior housing, and you'll have a spot to be able to begin it within the town.
Beautiful, I appreciate it, thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. Anything you need from us, Bill?
We'll just continue this, if you would vote to continue this hearing to the 12th.
So made.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
And we got some minutes.
We get a pair of minutes from December 18th, 2025. Does anybody have any comments on that?
I have one comment. And
This was hard tonight. I'm exhausted.
all right, what I had is on the, with the, I gotta find it first.
Use a red pen. I can get you a red pen from now on.
Yeah. I got a lot of red pen marks when I was a kid. It had to do with the Edwards property. And, we put in where they have to put the, right, but also, I asked a question about him, we brought that about, was the, him using that as rental property, for storage property for Amazon trucks. And he said it would not be used for Amazon trucks.
I think she's, I've noticed.
That was part of the discussion.
Calmness about her, and more understanding of how things work.
Well, it's for his business.
Right. I believe he said for his business and his business only.
So it would have been between page 3 and 4? You want something added?
Yes. Three.
Okay, I'll,
Actually, be before page,
it would be at the end of.
page 3.
It would be page, Mr. Murphy Okay, I'll just put this on the agenda next time.
Was that put into the special conditions as well as the,
That it can't be used for Amazon? No.
okay.
Can we approve them? We can't approve them until it's in stone? Okay.
All right, other than that, that's the only comment I had.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did we vote on the town, the meeting?
We're not voting on them being postponed.
She didn't get her motion. I second it.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.